Hey Casper Warriors, here are 3 brilliant traps and opening tricks that will blow your opponent's minds when you play them. Unlike other YouTube tutorials, I'm going to be demonstrating these traps in real games against real human opponents on leeches. So don't miss any trap or any opening trick. And just a friendly reminder, all of my courses are still on promotion. Yes, you still get 50% discount on all of them. That is, you will get a discount of 50% when you purchase any of my courses. Right, here is trap number 1 in the following opening. I wouldn't mind playing this even in a serious classical tournament match or federated match. So what I'm going to do is to play a live game against a real human opponent on leeches. And I want you guys to learn from my thought process throughout the middle game and the end game. But for those who don't know how the Steiner variation goes, you first of all start with pawn to c4, kind of the Maroczy-bind pawn structure, right? Most people will always respond with d5. As you can tell by the eval bar, this is still equal according to Stockfish. So you just take. And after ed, the main line is to actually take, which equalizes the game on the spot. But I'm beginning to realize that it's a lot of things that you can do in this position, such as pawn to e5 as well, and knight c3. But anyway, speaking of the Steiner variation, you want to go queen a4 check. Just a sideline move to force black to do something about this check. They usually play bishop d7, after which you go queen b3, attacking that b7 pawn. They usually take the e4 pawn, after which you introduce your light squad bishop, attack the pawn on f7 and the other pawn on b7. And here is how I win most of my games in 10 moves or less. Queen e7, queen takes, bishop c6, queen check, queen d8, bishop takes, king e7, checkmate. Exactly in 10 moves. I hope we're going to see something like that in the game I'm about to play. Okay, let's punish the French defense with the Steiner variation. I guess my opponent is confused at this point. If pawn takes, I have bishop c4. That's the theory. And if bishop c6, which is, kind of trending nowadays, just go knight f3. The idea is to sacrifice the knight like this. Because if pawn takes, there's checkmate in 2 with queen e6, checkmate. So black can't, oh god. People have eyes, but they don't see. So at this point, just remove that. Off we go to trap number 2. Let's see how that will go in the following opening. This is called the Bodenkiserisky, aka the reversed Stafford Gambit. Normal move here is to go knight h4, but I love the idea of castling. If d6, I always sacrifice my knight like that. But here I can even sacrifice on e5. So the idea is to go queen h5 check, take, take. Ooh, this position looks good for a thumbnail. I can also play this Anna. So let's just give a check. By the way, I have that. So takes, attacking too many things. A beautiful trap that occurs in the Bodenkiserisky. So you can see my opponent just resigned. So here is what I want you guys to be playing. After pawn to e4 and e5, instead of knight to f3, I want you guys to be playing bishop c4. This is called the bishop's opening. Seeing that this pawn on e4 is undefended, black will play the top plate move knight to f6, attacking this pawn. And right in this position, instead of playing knight to c3, I recommend you go knight to f3, completely giving up your pawn on e4. And again, the top plate move here is knight takes on e4. Believe it or not, this is the top plate move in both the Masters database and the Leeches database. So again, after knight takes e4, I don't want you to take on e5 because black has this move pawn to d5. Even though it is not dangerous, this would just force us start undeveloping our pieces. So just go knight to c3, and if this black's knight goes back to f6, we can simply take the pawn on e5 and we'll have an advantage from there. So there's no reason for black to go back to f6. Again, you're going to see knight takes on c3, which is the top played move. After which we take with the d pawn, and behold, we are now playing the Stafford Gambit with white pieces. Except that the real name for this gambit is the Boden-Kitzerisky Gambit. So what if black chooses to play something else? Let's say bishop c5 in his position. Well, after bishop c5, we can simply go knight g5, again targeting the weak f2 pawn. And after castle shot, we can go queen h5, again trying to mate on h7. This is even worse for black because let's say if pawn to h6, we simply take the pawn on f7, threatening to take the queen on d8 next. So you're going to see them playing something like queen e8, after which we just take on h6 with the knight, and that's double check. And after king h7 or whatever black can do, we just simply mate on h8. Going back a few moves, after queen h5, trying to checkmate on h7, again black plays h6, and then we take on f7. Instead of queen e8, if black plays bishop takes on f7 by black, the idea is that if you take the bishop, they will take with check, and yes, you can take back with the queen, but I suggest you just go king e2, avoiding everything, because here you still have a chance to go knight takes on h6, double check. Now time to learn about opening trap number 3 in the following opening. This time we have the Scandinavian. Let's go with the Tennyson Gambit. Since this video is all about traps, pawn to e4 or pawn to e5 is another move you will always see. Just go d3. Pawn takes. My idea is to go queen h5, by the way. Can I still play that? Let's go h4 to provoke h6. Okay, looks like my opponent is not going to fall for any of those dirty tricks. They seem to know what they are doing. Can I sack? Nope. The queen is not free. So my trap failed to work. My Tennyson trap failed to work this time, but I'll still find a way to make it work in one way or another. A3 to stop that knight attack. Now I've played these positions many times that I'm even used. If pawn to f5, I'll just attack the queen, and that maybe get rid of the dark squared bishop indirectly. Yeah, that knight is literally not doing anything. In fact, I can get rid of it now and put my queen on e2 or here. I'm thinking of sacrificing my bishop if castle long happens. I've already started my pawn storm on the queen side, so it won't make sense for black to castle long. Which is why they just chose to castle short. But since this video is all about traps, I'm thinking of sacrificing my pawn. So if bishop takes, I think I'll just play, yep, queen g2. Just trying to find a way to checkmate my opponent very fast. Let's attack. Things ain't good now. We attack. Can't I just take this checkmate on G7? I don't know why my opponent played like that. Maybe they thought my king was still on E2 or something like that. That was just a free piece. Not to mention the bishop is under attack. So now I can win that queen. I do not mind giving up material. You saw me doing that even before I won a free queen. At this point, it's just a matter of technique. Almost anything I do is justifiable. Almost checkmate. Discovery check. Let's pin this. Can still take. Take the last squad bishop. Move to D2. Mate. Okay. So what I wanted to do in this game was to win my opponent's queen. In case they play knight f6, I was going to play d3, and after pawn takes, I was going to play bishop takes, and if pawn to h6, I was going to sacrifice my knight. By the way, this is called the Tennyson Gambit. There are so many videos on YouTube on this gambit, and I happen to be one of the people that kind of popularized it on YouTube. So the trap is after king takes, we have bishop g6 check, covering all these diagonals, so the black king can't go back, and say after king takes, we have queen takes. That's how we win a free queen. But my opponent played a different variation. I still had to work for my meal and convert the game. Now check this out, you guys. If you want to learn more about these kinds of tricks or similar opening ideas like the ones I just shared, you can watch this video that has popped up on the top left. Another video that I highly recommend you check out to skyrocket your rating is this one that has popped up on the top right. But if you love gambit videos, you can check out the video that has popped up on the bottom left. And if you are a lover of chess traps like myself, feel free to click on the video that has popped up on the bottom right.